If you retired in one of these three states, you could be losing $10,000 every year. Have you ever looked at your retirement account and wondered, will this really be enough? Because right now, thousands of retirees across America are making a mistake that quietly costs them thousands of dollars every single year. And the worst part, most of them don't even realize it is happening. They think they're doing everything right. They worked hard, they saved diligently, they paid off debt, they planned for retirement, and then they moved to a state that slowly started draining money out of their pockets. Not because of bad investments, not because of a stock market crash, not because of reckless spending, simply because of where they chose to live. Today, we're looking at three states where retirees can lose as much as $10,000 every year through taxes, insurance costs, housing expenses, and other hidden retirement traps. And before you assume this only affects wealthy retirees, it doesn't. In fact, one of these states hits middle-class retirees the hardest. And the state ranked number one surprises almost everyone. So make sure you stay until the end, because the difference between the right state and the wrong state could mean keeping an extra $100,000 or more during retirement. Let's begin. Imagine a retired couple. Let's call them Jim and Susan. Jim is 68, Susan is 66. Together they receive a pension, Social Security, and some income from retirement accounts. Nothing extravagant, just enough to enjoy a comfortable retirement. They worked for decades, saved carefully, avoided debt, did everything they were told to do, but a few years into retirement, they noticed something strange. Their savings were shrinking faster than expected. Every year, there seemed to be less money left over. The problem wasn't spending. The problem wasn't investing. The problem was where they lived. And that is exactly why today's list matters. Let's start with number 3, Vermont. Now, before anyone rushes into the comments, Vermont is beautiful. The scenery is incredible. The small towns are charming, and many retirees absolutely love living there, but beauty doesn't pay the bills, and that is where the problem begins. Many retirees move to Vermont because of the lifestyle. Very few sit down and calculate what retirement will actually cost over 20 years. Once certain income levels are reached, retirement income can become taxable. Social Security benefits can become taxable. Pension income can become taxable. ERA withdrawals can become taxable. And 401k withdrawals can become taxable. Now let's put real numbers on that. Imagine losing $3,000 every year. That might not sound devastating, but over 10 years, that is $30,000. Over 20 years, that is $60,000. That is a new car. That is years of vacations. That is money many retirees thought would stay in their pockets. And here is what makes it dangerous. Most people never notice it happening. It is not one giant bill. It is dozens of smaller costs, slowly eating away at retirement. Month after month, year after year. And Vermont isn't even the worst offender on this list, because the next state costs many retirees. Number 2, Minnesota. This one surprises a lot of people, because whenever Minnesota gets mentioned, people immediately talk about healthcare, and that is fair. Minnesota has excellent healthcare, some of the best in America. But great healthcare doesn't automatically make retirement affordable. Many retirees discover that pensions, IRA withdrawals, investment income, and retirement account distributions can all create tax burdens. Now think about this. Let's say a retiree loses $400 every month. Most people don't panic over $400, but that is nearly $5,000 every year, $50,000 over 10 years, and nearly $100,000 over 20 years. Suddenly, that small monthly expense doesn't feel small anymore. This is how retirement wealth disappears. Not overnight, not dramatically, but gradually, quietly, without most people realizing it until years later. And if you think Minnesota is expensive, wait until you see the state sitting at number 1, because this is where many retirees discover that retirement costs are far higher than they ever imagined. Number 1, California. Now, before anyone gets upset, California has a lot going for it. Beautiful weather, world-famous coastlines, amazing restaurants, entertainment, activities, and millions of people absolutely love living there, but retirement math doesn't care about scenery. Retirement math only cares about numbers, and for many retirees, those numbers become a problem. California is one of those places where costs seem manageable individually. A little more for housing, a little more for insurance, a little more for utilities, a little more for taxes, a little more for everyday expenses. But when you add everything together, the result can be shocking. Many retirees arrive with healthy savings, then spend years watching those savings disappear much faster than expected. Not because they were irresponsible, not because they made bad decisions, but because they underestimated how expensive retirement would actually be. And here is what makes the longer you stay, the harder it becomes to leave. Your friends are there, your family is there, Your doctors are there, your entire life is there, which means many retirees simply absorb the costs year after year, and that is exactly why California takes the #1 spot on today's list. But here is where most people get this completely wrong. They hear the phrase, no state income tax, and immediately assume they found the answer. Florida, Texas, Tennessee, Nevada. Problem solved, right? Not necessarily. Because states don't simply stop collecting money, they collect it differently. Maybe through property taxes, maybe through insurance costs, maybe through sales taxes, maybe through housing costs. And that is why the smartest retirees don't chase headlines. They run the numbers, all the numbers, taxes, housing, healthcare, cost of living, everything. Because retirement isn't about finding the perfect state, it is about finding the state that fits your situation. The state that allows you to keep the most money while still enjoying your life. And that is a decision that can literally be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. But before you make any retirement move, here are 3 bonus moves that could save you thousands. Bonus move #1. Calculate insurance costs before you move. Most retirees focus on taxes. Almost nobody focuses on insurance. And that can be a very expensive mistake. A state might save you $3,000 in taxes, but cost you $6,000 more in homeowners insurance. Suddenly, that tax-friendly state isn't saving you money at all. Before moving anywhere, get real insurance quotes, not estimates, not guesses. Real quotes, because insurance is often the hidden expense that changes everything. Bonus move #2. Don't compare today's costs. Compare the next 20 years. This is where many retirees get blindsided. A state may seem affordable today, but what happens if property taxes increase? What happens if insurance doubles? What happens if healthcare expenses rise? Retirement isn't a 1-year decision. It is a 20 or 30-year decision. The smartest retirees don't ask, can I afford it today? They ask, can I still afford it 10 years from now? That is a completely different question. Bonus move #3. Run the numbers on your exact retirement income, not someone else's yours. Because retirement is personal. A state that is terrible for one retiree may actually be excellent for another. Someone living mostly on Social Security may have a completely different outcome than someone relying on pensions, investments, and retirement account withdrawals. That is why copying your neighbor's retirement strategy can be dangerous. Your retirement income is unique. Your expenses are unique. Your situation is unique. The retirees who keep the most money aren't always the ones living in the cheapest states. They're the ones who understand their numbers. And if there is one thing I hope you take away from this video, it is this. The difference between the right state and the wrong state isn't just a few dollars here and there. For many retirees, it is the difference between keeping an extra $100,000 or even $200,000 over the course of retirement. That is real money. That is real money. That is why where you retire matters far more than most people realize. So let me ask you, what state are you currently retired in, and have the costs been higher or lower than you expected? Let me know in the comments. I read every single one. And if this video helped you avoid an expensive retirement mistake, subscribe for more retirement insights, because some of the biggest financial traps retirees face today aren't the ones making headlines. They're the ones quietly costing people thousands of dollars every year. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.